I love David Adler. He built some of the most romantic and beautiful homes in Chicago and the North Shore in the early part of the 20th century. This block is all by Adler. There are these townhouses. At the end is a townhouse that acted as a mansion for a member of the Ryerson family. But the rest of these were for artists and architects, really friends of Adler, including here, the one we're going into. Henry Dangler was Adler's business partner, also a classmate from Paris. Dangler worked for Adler briefly before his death, but what's interesting about that Parisian meeting between them is that you'll see when we go in, it has a very Parisian feeling. It's Georgian outside, which is not French, but as we go in, there's all sorts of French elegance, wonderful detailing throughout the property. So let's go on in and I'll meet the agent on the second floor where living really begins in this house. This is Michael Maremont, an agent with Premier Relocation, who is going to show us this house. Michael, I came in past what we think are the gentlemen's and ladies' receiving salons up this gorgeous, sensuous staircase. This is amazing.
It is a beauty, and that's one of the things you'll see in David Adler's architecture is the organic.
Oh, the way that winds up, it's just terrific. It seems to be not a problem for us to have the main living on the second floor because it was such a nice voyage.
You need to see this.
Yeah, and then what you really need to see also is this living room out on the front overlooking the park, and once upon a time it would have been overlooking the beachfront.
Exactly, the landfill started just past Lakeview Avenue there.
That's terrific.
It's beautiful.
It's a classic Adler room with all that amazing woodwork.
In the earliest part of the 20th century, it was all about formal entertaining, and that room is formal.
Although it's not quite as formal as what we're going into, this French-style ballroom. This is the main living room on this second floor. It's really the core of the house. What we've got behind it, we should mention first, is a very richly paneled library. Again, a very classic Adler room, and it had a different use for a while.
The previous owners actually used that room as a dining room because the kitchen's directly below it, so the food was actually bussed up through the back of the house.
Oh, terrific. Really, just a beautiful, rich, heavy room, but you come back out to this one, it's a very light room.
It's very airy. They had to make the ceiling this way, a solarium style, because you have party walls on each side with the neighboring units, and this would have been a dark room, so the light had to come in through the top.
Boy, they brought in an enormous amount of light through this skylight. And what's funny, we find out about the skylight is, while it does a great thing here, it creates these zones on the upper floors of the house.
There's 2 bedrooms stacked on the west side of the house. I think the child's bedroom is right above the solarium, and above that is a beautiful guest quarters that was probably originally used as back of the house servants' rooms, because it is at the top of the back of the house stairwell.
And boy, is it not back of the house now. It may be literally, but it's such a nice room. It's got a beautiful fireplace that I assume is original.
It is original, and throughout the house, as you can see, the owners have just kept to the old school detail impeccably.
Oh yeah, and that room really shows it. Then we've got on the east side of the house, on the 4th floor, there would be...
On the 3rd, we've got the master suite, and then on top of that, there are 2 additional bedrooms. One might be another guest bedroom, and one was definitely for a child.
And in that master, it's nice, it's a self-contained suite. It may not originally have been, there may have been a few rooms, but it's nice because we've got that big master that looks out over the park, and then they've done a bathroom that feels as if, though it's clearly brand new, it's got the rope on the tiles and things like that. It feels as if it could have been done then.
It's an amazing rehab.
Yeah.
Just from beginning to end, and it's new, you can tell, but it feels old.
Yeah, that's great. Let's go out and take a look at this old garden, too.
Yes, let's do it.
Michael, on the way out to this nice garden, we should mention we passed the kitchen. It has a great view out into here, but it is a little bit remote from the rest of the house.
That it is. Probably a new owner would probably want to reconfigure the first floor for more contemporary use.
And we looked around. It would be possible to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's where it is because servants were using it, but you can easily pull it forward in the house and make it more central.
Again, the whole house was built for formal entertaining, and in the early part of the 20th century, again, back of the house was not seen.
Right. Although this part of the back of the house is terrific. This little garden, which we understand was a design of Adler.
It is an Adler original.
It's great.
Not been touched.
What's interesting is we saw the plaster heads in the ballroom, and there are some here in the garden, and also in this nook. There has to be a story to that head. I'd like to know what it is.
Yeah, so would I, because it is definitely special.
Now, one of the things we give up by having this garden, you've pointed out, is we don't have a garage, because who'd want to give up this garden?
Who would want to ruin this? But there are remedies to the situation. There have been plans done by an architect for building a garage beneath the garden.
Oh, come down under all this.
You can come down under, you can put it on top. You know, where there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, that's great. Well, the nice thing is, sitting out here, garage or none, we've got this great view of the neighborhood. What I like is we're looking right out at the Elks Temple, the Elks Lodge. That colonnade looking down on us really continues that sort of French look you were talking about.
Absolutely. Lincoln Park's a beautiful part of Chicago, and you know, the Elk building has been here for a long time, and to have a view of it like this is just icing on the cake.